Gang, we are getting ready to do some bent hollow holds and some side planks. So we're going to time it out for you. We're going to do 3 rounds today, and we're also going to go over the proper setup of that hollow hold. So I'm going to have Ian here. Let me get out of the way. I'm going to have Ian here squeeze his knees together. All right? So right now they're stacked right over his hips. You see that? That's not going to challenge his core that much. So he's going to squeeze his knees together, squeeze his ankles together, point those toesies. There we go. So now he's going to pop out here. And you see, keep those legs up a little bit. So the feet are going to be in line with the knees. And the more he pushes out here, the more it's challenging his core to keep his lower back flat. All right? And now from here, he can crunch up and reach his fingertips through his heels. Right? So his lower back, keep that lower back down a little bit. There we go. So it's really just closing this right here. It's closing the ribs down to the belt buckle. You want to make sure your shoulder blades are off the ground. And your head might be roughly the same height as your feet. Might be a little bit lower. And just keep reaching those fingertips through your heels. And you make sure you keep that neck nice and long so you're not scrunching up here, okay? So this is the hold. Go ahead and relax. Now, feel good?
Yep.
All right. So now we're going to do side planks, and we'll just go over the quick tutorial, and then we'll get actually into the timed rounds, okay? So, show me a side planky. All right, so look, right here, his elbow is right underneath his shoulder. His feet are stacked up over there, and his shoulders are one on top of the other. So a big common mistake is to kind of keep some bend in the hips. Yep, we don't want that. Pop that up, and you can look for the straight line sort of right here. So you're a little too high, right there. So now he's got a nice straight line from his shoulder down to his feet. This is where we're going to hold the position. Show me that, that modification with the top foot. So this is our preferred modification. Bring that foot over. It gives you a nice little bit of stability. And then, and then you hold it here for the designated amount of time. So we're going to get into the timer, and we're going to go. We wrote in the PDF 30 seconds to 60 seconds, 30 to 60 for each of the holds. We're just going to split the difference for today's and go 45 seconds each. So it's 45 seconds of the hollow hold, 45 seconds of the side plank, 45 seconds on the other side, and then it will be a minute of rest. And we're going to repeat that 3 times. All right, so this is the timed rounds for the hollow holds and for the side plank. Okay, so again, the PDF says 30 to 60 seconds. We're going to split the difference today here for this follow along. We'll go 45, and we're going to do 3 rounds. So it's hollow holds for 45, side plank left for 45, side plank right for 45, and then we're going to rest for a minute, hang out, and we'll do it again. Okay? So in 10 seconds here, Ian's going to start. So stack those knees up, squeeze the knees together, point the toesies. All right, and here we go. Start challenging those abs. You just go as far out as you can where you feel the challenge. Crunch up and hang out. The feet kind of right in line with the knees. Good. Make sure those shoulder blades are off the ground. Make sure you're reaching those fingertips long through your heels. Make sure you keep that neck nice and long, right? So I'm not here, but I got a nice long neck with the shoulders away. Good job. We got 20 seconds left. Keep reaching. Keep pushing that back down. Keep that neck long. You can almost think about making a double chin to really lengthen through the back of your neck. Good. Good, good. Come on, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Turn it over to a side plank. So here we go. Boom. And so now I want to make sure straight line from the heel up to the shoulder. So I'm just going to take Ian's back here, just push a little bit forward. So now his butt was just a little bit behind his shoulders. All right, you see a nice straight line here from shoulder to elbow. He's stacked up. He's looking cool, calm, and collected. He's got a nice long neck. There's nothing creeping up there on that bottom shoulder. He's not hanging out. He's boom, nice and intentional with his posture. He's looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. Looking good, Ian. 10 seconds, then we're going to switch sides. You gonna show him your butt, or you gonna flip around? Okay. I know you're self-conscious sometimes. Here we go. Turn it around. Other side. Good. Heel, knee, hip, shoulder, great straight line. His shoulder blades are stacked one on top of the other. This shoulder's nice and long. He's looking good. He looking good. Yep, so we're just hanging out. That was 20 seconds. We got 25 more to go. This is a nice, easy start to the warm-up. You get everything in your core firing from multiple directions, obviously. The side planks go a long way towards sort of undoing your cranky lower back. So if, a lot of times these muscles right around our hips, these small little stabilizers, 2, 1, rest up. Those small little muscles around your hips can kind of turn off when you sit at a desk all day. And so this is a great way just to turn them back on. So with our core, a lot of times people wonder about core stability or like what core training even is. And well, there's a couple things that it really does. And the biggest one that we're talking about, we've been talking about the last couple of days, is anti-extension. So extension was that posture we were talking about here. This is overextension. So anti-extension is training the ribs and the belt buckle to get close together and to resist that. And that's pretty much exactly what the bent hollow hold is doing. That's anti-extension, right? And then there's also moving side to side. You also want to be able to resist moving side to side, which is exactly what the side plank is, right? So it's like when gravity is pulling your hips down and it's forcing you to bend, you're resisting against it and stabilizing against it. And that's what we're doing. Back to the hollow hold. Here we go. Knees together, boom, crunch it up. So now, again, he's working on tightening that core from ribs to belt buckle. This is really solid right here. He's working on that anti-extension. So important. So important. Good. So you keep squeezing the knees together, you keep squeezing the ankles together, you point at the toes, you keep reaching those fingertips, right? Nice long neck, shoulder blades up off the ground. We're looking good. We're looking good. I can tell he's a little bit fatigued because his knees weren't as far out as he pushed them last time. So that's fine. He made the adjustment because his core is tired to bring his knees up a little bit. That's perfect. Do it. Good. Flip over to the side plank. You do what you got to do in order to keep your lower back flat to the ground. All right, and here we go on the side plank. Shoulders stacked. Shoulder, hip, ankle, nice straight line. And Ian looks good right now, but a very common mistake is to have the butt a little bit back towards me, like behind the shoulders. And so, like if you see me in class, I'll just come up and kind of give you a little love tap there. That's, you know, since I'm not there with you in your living room, that's something to think about. Is there this little crook in your hip that you just gotta pop forward? 10 seconds and we're turning around. Long neck, that bottom shoulder, make sure that's away from your ear. All right, 3, 2, 1, turn around. Good, here we go. Nice. Same deal. Great straight line here from Ian. That shoulder runs in a straight line all the way down to that elbow. His neck is nice and long. Chest is up. And he's just hanging out. Thinking about playing some Call of Duty when he gets out of here later. That's what the kids do, you know, they play video games. All right, get ready. 15 seconds in the last third of this hold here. He's laughing because I'm right. 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're hanging out for a minute. All right? So today we're doing that anti-extension, that anti-lateral flexion. You'll also notice the dead bugs, leopard crawls, all that stuff. That's the plank with the dumbbell drag, the plank with the reach. Those are all anti-rotation. So our core can produce rotation, so we can rotate, you know, using our obliques and all the muscles in our core. We can also resist rotation, which means that as I go to reach in that plank, I resist it by not opening up. And so that's the 3 main things we train for a quote-unquote functional core. Those are the big sort of patterns that you train. So it's anti-extension, anti-lateral flexion, so stabilizing against it, and then stabilizing against rotation. We also train creating rotation as well. We do some med ball stuff, Russian twist, all that good stuff. All right, here we go. Ready? Squeeze those knees, push them forward as far as you can while keeping the lower back on the ground. Make sure you feel those deer abbies engage. Squeeze those ankles together, point those toes. Make sure your shoulder blades are off the ground. Shoulder blades are up, but the lower back is down. Neck is long. Tuck that chin just a little bit. There we go. So now he's really long through his neck as well. Sometimes if you see that chin jut forward, you're gonna feel a kink right here. And if you just kind of slightly make a double chin, you'll lengthen up from the back of your head, which is a good thing. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Turn it over. Side plank. All right, pop it up. Boom. Make sure you got that hip forward. You got that straight line. Ankle, knee, hip, shoulder. So when I say we're stabilizing against that lateral movement, that side movement, gravity's pulling him this way. You see that? So if he lets gravity pull him down, that's where he's gonna go. So he's gotta use these muscles on the opposite side here to contract and resist gravity, resist letting his spine bend that way. So important. Good job. Looking good. He's got his shoulders stacked up. Beautiful. He's got his hips stacked up. And I'll talk about anti-rotation on this next one because we're coming to an end here. Boom. Turn it over. And so there is even a little bit of anti-rotation or rotational stability here. Yep, exactly. So you can see sometimes we'll have a tendency to just hang out there, to open up and see now this top hip, it's behind that bottom hip. And so you're gonna fight that by making sure your hips are stacked one on top of the other. So his shoulder blades are stacked up one on top of the other, his hips are stacked up one on top of the other, his knees are and his ankles are as well. You got 15 seconds left. Long neck, good, get that shoulder down, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booyah! All right, so that's the core circuit. You can do another round or two if you want. We're gonna move on, all right? Okay, so let's go over some basics of the next circuit here, which is glute bridges, it's push-ups, and it's squat walk-ups, and then we'll do the circuit together, okay? So glute bridges, pop down there for a second, Ian. All right, so here's the glute bridge. Ian is going to, just like we did before, squeeze his abs so his lower back's flat on the ground. Before he even takes off, he's gonna squeeze his butt. All right, now he's gonna dig his heels in and push his hips up. All right, now you wanna get a straight line from your shoulder to your knee, so keep going. There we go. So this is a straight line, knee, hip, shoulder. You wanna fight the tendency, remember that anti-extension we just talked about? You wanna fight the tendency to overextend and strain that lower back out. You don't want the hips in front of the knees or shoulders, right? So it's finding that straight line. And of course, go ahead and pop down. If you have, give me a halfway. If you have tight hip flexors or something like this, you won't be able to straighten out entirely. So you're really gonna have to squeeze your butt to lengthen those hip flexors and get your hips into that straight line, okay? Go ahead and pop on down for a second. And then the other thing to think about is if you're feeling this all hamstring, but you're not feeling anything in your butt, you can simply walk your heels back closer to your butt, and you'll be able to get more glutes. So you're gonna have to find the optimal position for you, okay? So that's the glute bridge. We'll come back to that. Show me an elevated push-up, Ian. So now push-ups are the second part of the circuit. Wait, is this, yeah, we'll do squats, split squats next. Yep, so push-ups are here, right? So remember that anti-extension principle we talked about? This is extending at the lower back. Go ahead and fight that extension, give me a straight line. And this is what we're looking for is a shoulder to a hip to a heel, right? And so there's a reason we elevate our hands rather than drop to our knees. Because when we have this full lever here, the full length of our body, it gives us a chance to feel that what's happening with that anti-extension in our core, right? And it gives us a chance to learn how to hold that proper alignment. If we were to do push-ups from our knees, well, the knee to the shoulder is a much shorter lever, and you're never gonna feel that. You're never gonna build up the core strength to do it. So we would rather elevate your hands to get you in the right position, and you can slowly lower your hands over time as you get stronger. All right, so you're just gonna knock your push-ups out from there. Remember, elbows are 45. So not chicken wing, because that's gonna lead to shrugging, and it's not elbows into the side, because that's gonna lead to the shoulders rolling forward. It's somewhere in between. Think about it, you know, a triangle, head to elbow right there, okay? And then what was it, squat walk up? Mm-hmm. All right, squat walk up. So why don't you start with a squat? So Ian's gonna squat down, boom. So now look, when you're doing a body weight squat, your torso is gonna be pretty upright. The line of his torso here, this line will roughly match the line of his shins. Now the opposite of that is if he tips too far forward, you can see the line of his torso here will intersect with his shins. That's not really what we're looking for. So get that chest up, get upright, Boom. And that's where we want to be, okay? So the squat walk-up, we're going to use it as a drill that helps us learn that position, okay? So go ahead and stand up one more time, Ian. So, squat down. All right, now put your hands on the ground. Obviously, you're going to lose a little bit of your squat as you reach forward. That's okay. Now walk back to a push-up plank. Now walk your foot up, other foot, and now he's not in the best squat position here. His butt's high, his back might be a little bit rounded. So now this is where we do the learning. He's going to push his knees apart, drop his butt, and pull that chest up. So now he pulls himself into that squat position. And look, his hands are out in front for a counterbalance. This is a great spot. Here he's going to do a squat and go back down into the next one. And then show me a jump as well. So you can also jump, into the bottom of that squat position. Either way is okay. One's just a little bit more dynamic, one's a little bit more stable. So show me a jump both ways. So the jump can look like this. Pop, pop, get that squat, and stand up. So you always, even though the jump back and forth is pretty dynamic, you always want to make sure that that squat position is really what you focus on. So when you get to that, when you pop forward, when you jump forward, you make sure you take your time dropping your butt, lifting your chest, and finding that alignment before you stand up, okay? So let's do a round in real time here so we can show the folks at home what it looks like. What did I do with that remote? I lost it. Shoot. I'm back. All right. So, Ian, go ahead and get in that glute bridge position. So, the PDF is calling for 30 reps, okay? That's a lot, but make sure they're not junk reps. So if you just find yourself checking out at 15 or 20 or whatever, that's fine, no junk reps. Each one is good and solid. So boom, down. Each time, reevaluate. Drive your back into the ground, okay? Count out 10, 15, 20, 25, etc. Keep going. Each rep, put your back flat into the ground. Squeeze your butt before you take off. Most of your weight as you push will be in your heels. You can even lift your toes up off the ground if you want to really accentuate all that weight being in your heels. That's going to get more activation from the posterior chain, which is your backside, all right? So each time he's getting a nice straight line. Good job, he's a third of the way there. Big squeeze at the top too. That's the thing I think that we kind of forget to do is at the top, squeeze your butt as hard as you freaking can. So when we are sitting down, again, like I know I talk about desk posture a lot, but it's a real thing. And so when we're sitting on our butts all day, those butt muscles tend to deactivate. Those muscles in the front of the hips, the hip flexors, you probably heard that, oh, I got tight hip flexors. That's because this is the hip flex position. This stuff's getting short. So in order to undo that, you gotta work that glute to straighten your hips back out to extend your hips again. Where are we at? 26. All right, my dude, go ahead and knock out some push-ups. You can do them elevated or, so we got different heights if you guys didn't notice. There's the high box, there's the bench, and of course you can do them on the ground. Go ahead and knock them out. The whole time he's fighting that extension. So the ribs and the belt buckle are locked into place. As he goes down, he's drawing his shoulder blades together, right? Big chest, he opens up as he pulls his shoulder blades together. All right, my man. Squat walk-ups. Let's see 10 of them. So you can do jumping or walking back. Why don't you alternate reps? Or do like 5 of each maybe. Do 5 walk-ups and then 5 jump backs. Boom. Good job. So you notice every single time he walks up, drops the butt, lifts the chest, finds that squat position, and then does it again. Good job. Boom. Nice job. There we go, we're on to some jumps. And again, you can do whatever you want at home, whatever you're more comfortable with. You can walk them up, you can jump them up, you could do half and half, you can alternate, you can do 1 round walking, one round jumping. It doesn't matter, okay? Good, feeling good? Feeling great. Okay, so that round took about 3 minutes. We got our timer set for 15 minutes. So realistically, by the time you rest in between rounds, I would say 4 to 5 rounds is probably a good start, okay? So Ian, I'm gonna have you do one more without me talking, and I just want you to count out every 5th rep, okay?
All right.
Cool, and I'm gonna jump out of here.
All right, everybody, starting up in 3, 2, 1. Glute bridges. 5. 10. 15, halfway. 20, 10 more. 25, last 5. 30. All right, starting push-ups. 3, 2, 1. 10. 5, halfway. 10. Squat walk up starting in 3, 2, 1, 10. 5, halfway. 1. Done. All right, everybody, starting up in 3, 2, 1. Glute bridges. 5. 10. 15, halfway. 20, 10 more. 25, last 5. 30. All right, starting push-ups. 3, 2, 1. 10. 5, halfway. 10. Squat walk up starting in 3, 2, 1, 10. 5, halfway. 1. Done.
Okay, so this is our last start for the day, very similar to the last one. 3 exercises, we're gonna do it for 15 minutes. So just like we did last time, I'm just gonna walk you through a quick tutorial on the technique. We'll go through 1 round together, and then we'll just let you work, all right? So, where are we starting? Split squats. Let's just start it, line it up from the ground for me, would you, Ian? There you go. Give me a profile, yeah. Okay, cool. So go to the ground. Okay, so right here, this is key. This knee is right over his ankle, okay? In the back, you'll see that hip is right over his knee. You'll also want to look at alignment, right? So are you overextended? Again, if you got tight hip flexors, it's going to pull your hips forward. You're going to have to engage your abs and squeeze your glutes to find neutral. Good. And then from there, you just push up. Easy peasy. So this is different than a lunge. The back leg's not moving. You see that? The back leg stays planted and he just drops up and down. And that's why for this one, while it still hits your glutes and it still does hit your hamstrings, this would be more like the front of the leg, the quad, a little bit more than let's say a lunge, which is going to hit the back of the leg because you're actually moving that leg forward. Okay? So that's the split squat. The prone cross crawl, give me like a quartering, if you would. Like an angle. There you go. So it starts out in the push-up position, and then again, finding that stability, fighting that rotation, fighting that wanting to open up. You can stay as stable as you can while you touch your elbow to your knee, right? So all that matters is you touch the arm to the leg. If it's just your hand to your knee, that's fine. If it is your forearm, that's fine. Elbow is going to be the biggest range of motion, the biggest challenge. Now, if you're just like all over the place or you're falling over from this push-up position, you can just drop to your knees and do it. Boom. Right there. Easy peasy, okay? And then the dead bugs, I mean, let's just do a quick tutorial in case you haven't watched the myriad of videos we put up about dead bugs, right? Knees start out past the waist. All 4 limbs in the air, and you drop. And so today we're just wrapping it out. So opposite arm and leg come away, and you come up. So breathe in through the nose as you extend, exhale as you come up. And you just keep going. And we're gonna hit 10, that's 10 per side, so it's 20 total movements. That's a smoker, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So Ian, why don't we have you go through a round of everything without me blabbing away. I'll just point out a few things and then we'll let him get to it, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, so we're starting with the split squat. So again, all these principles, your abs should be on fire. Go ahead and start working. Your abs should be on fire from those bent hollow holds. And it's the same principle here. Ian's not going to let it's called your rib cage flare. He's not going to let his rib cage flare. He's keeping those abs engaged. He's keeping his core tight. And that keeps the strain off of his lower back. It also helps straighten out those hips that are tilted forward from sitting at the desk. Good job. So you knocked out 10, switching legs. You're going to hit 10 on the other side. Good job. This 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Push-up position. We're going to do the cross crawls. So here he is, nice and strong and stable. You can take a little bit wider base with your feet if you need to get more stable. And let's go. We're going 10 per side. Tap, tap. So Ian here is staying on one side and knocking out all 10. I like that, because it allows him to really find the stability and not have to like relearn the stability each time. It will be a little bit more challenging to alternate sides every time because your body's gonna have to find its balance with that arm and leg quicker, and it's gonna have to reset that balance each time. So I would say for now, do exactly what Ian's doing, which is stay on one side, knock out your 10 reps, and then do your 10 reps on the other side, okay? Boom. Good job. All right, time for some dead buggies. So, I'll count these for you, okay? So, back is flat in the lower ground, lower back is flat in the ground, knees pulled past the waist, and he's gonna go. Breathe in and extend, close it up, extend, close it up. 1, keep going. It's 2. It's 3. 4, 5, halfway. Good. 8. 9. 10. Does that count that right? Did I miss one?
You missed me. You missed me.
I missed one. Whatever. You get the idea, right? So now we're going to go through that one more time. Timer's off. And you're just going to keep looping just like we did with the previous circuit. It's 15 minutes. You're going to do all the exercises. By the time you rest a little bit, 5 rounds would be like max speed, but anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds, I'd say that 15 minutes is good to go, okay?